Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Hope you've all had a wonderful day. Today's video is my April TBR video. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I filmed this already, or filmed most of it already, and I was just checking back on some clips and my mouth is out of sync and the lighting is so dark. So I am just gonna refilm basically what I can with the books I've already chosen because I don't want to change the books and redo the whole thing. Purely because there are some books in here that are tricky books and I feel like it would be unfair to refilm and take those books out because that's not how the TBR game went. So I'm just going to run through the books that I already chose and pick the remaining ones with you. But to start us off, I have Rachel Vincent's My Soul to Keep. This is the third book in the Soul Screamers trilogy, or not trilogy, series, that I am reading with the lovely Nikki. I believe we are reading this one in April. I haven't confirmed that with Nikki yet, but I believe we are reading it in April. So there is that one. The first book I pulled out was a book with a plant or a tree on the cover. So I went for Harper To Kill a Mockingbird. Now, I have never read this before. I don't know anything about it other than what it says on the back, and that it's about a black man charged with the rape of a white girl through the eyes of Scout and Jem Finch. And it's basically about adult attitudes to race and class in the deep south of the 1930s. I am excited to give this a read. Some people I went to school with, depending on their English group, they read this. I wasn't in that English group, so I haven't read it. And I'm excited to give it a go and see what I think. So that was the first one, a book with a plant or a tree on the cover. Next up was to read a book gifted to you. So I went for a new book, and that is The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. Now, I've heard good things about it. There are a lot of people reading this in the book community at the moment. And basically it's about Nora, who on her last day on Earth is transported to a library, and she gets the option to live out what her life would have been like if she'd made different choices. And it's just basically asking you, what's the best way to live? And I've heard really good things about it. I did receive this for my birthday. I received 2 copies. There is a giveaway up on my channel at the moment. It is in my birthday haul video, so if you want to check that out, you're more than welcome. But I haven't detailed it as a giveaway video as I want it to be available to my lovely subscribers. But yes, so this was book 2 of my picks. And then book 3, which is where we get nasty, is all I'm going to say. It's a book that intimidates you, and I knew straight away when I pulled this out which book I was going to choose. It is Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell by Susanna Clarke. This book is 1006 pages. It's huge. It's a floppy paperback, which makes me happy, but it's massive. And I find it horribly intimidating, and the fact it's sitting in that pile looking at me makes me feel even more uncomfortable. So I'm not excited about it at all. It's about 2 magicians, Mr. Norrell, who is a very distinguished magician who has been around a long time, and Jonathan Strange, who comes in and rocks the boat slightly. So yes, I picked this up at a charity shop a long time ago. It was £1. And I'm terrified, absolutely terrified by it. And I really hope that I can finish it, but we shall see. I have tried with the following prompts to kind of pick books that I feel might be an easy read for me. So I've used the prompts a little bit to my advantage because of that book. But next up, I had a book that is part of a series that you've started, and I had Life Eternal by Yvonne Woon. It is the second book. I read Dead Beautiful in January, and I really liked it. When I first started reading it, I was like, oh my god, this is Twilight rewritten, you know, but I wanted to get to the end of it. And then when I got to the end and the thing happens, and if you've read Dead Beautiful, you'll know what I'm talking about, I was like, woo, this is not Twilight. And I loved it, and I couldn't wait to get my hand on the second and third book. So yes, I will be continuing on with this series. there's that. Next up was a book that your boyfriend chooses for you. Now, when I first, sorry, I've got a really itchy nose. When I first started filming this video, he wasn't here. And then when I started to look back at my clips and everything, he luckily just came back. So I asked him to pick a book and I said, be kind, because my TBR is looking pretty horrible. And he chose Blitzcat by Westell. Now this one I picked up not that long ago in our book exchange box. And basically this is about a cat during the Blitz in Coventry who leads the way to safety. People touched her for luck, feared her as an omen of disaster. Wherever she went, she changes lives. So yes, I am excited to give this a go. It does look really battered, sadly. All the pages are kind of bent and it just hasn't been very well looked after, which makes me feel really sad. But he was very kind to me. This is a shorter book. It's only 225 pages-ish. So yes, I feel he has been generous with that one. Oh, just pulled my own hair. Then next up, we had a book that's also a film. I chose Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen. I am kind of going on with reading the Jane Austen books that I have. This is the last one, I believe, that I have in my collection. I've never read Sense and Sensibility before. I've never seen the film. I know nothing about it apart from it's about two sisters with that have qualities that represent sense and sensibility. That is pretty much all I know, but I really want to give it a read and see how I get along. So they were the books that I had already chosen. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I've already chosen 6 books. I did pick out my next prompt, but what I will do is I will pop that one back in as I haven't chosen a book for it yet, and I will choose the following 2 with you. So we have another pink one. If it is a so-and-so chooses your book for you, I will pop it back in as my boyfriend obviously chose this month's book. And it says, the newest book on your shelf by publication date. Now, I'm not entirely sure if that would have been the Midnight Library, so what I will do is I will have a little look and see what other books are on my shelf that are newest in terms of publication date. So yes, I am going to go and choose that and I will be back. I went for Coming Home to Brightwater Bay by Holly Hepburn. Now, this was published... It just says 2021, and I did pick this one up pretty recently. Itchy nose. I did pick this one up pretty recently in my local supermarket. I love Holly Hepburn. I think her writing is lovely, and this wasn't a book I was planning on picking up anytime soon. It's one of those books I was planning on saving for a nice sunny day when I know that I will enjoy it. Oh, new book smell. But yes. This is the newest book by publication date other than The Midnight Library. So it just says, Marina Wilde has it all, a successful career writing romance novels, a buzzing social life and a childhood sweetheart who thinks she's a goddess. But Mary has a secret, the magic has stopped flowing from her fingers. As her deadline whooshes by, her personal life falls apart too, and Mary finds herself single for the first time since, well, ever. Desperate to get her life back on track, Mary escapes London for a secluded cliff-top cottage in the windswept Orkney Islands, trying to heal her heart and rediscover her passion for writing. Can this new adventure help Mary believe in love again, if only long enough to finish her book? Or is it time for her to give up her career and find something new to set her soul alight? So yes, it was a book I wasn't planning on reading for a while, but it's on the TBR, and yes, we shall see. I am anticipating this being a complete flop of a TBR purely because of that Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell book. I'm terrified. But we'll choose our last pick and then we shall just see how we get on. We've gone for a yellow to end this wonderful TBR. But it just says, an author with a double-barreled name. Okay, I'm going to go and see if I can find one of those. Again, I've gone for another book I wasn't planning on reading for a while, but she's the only one I have with a double-barreled name. And that is Carrie Hope Fletcher's All I Know Now, Wanderings and Reflections on Growing Up Gracefully. Bless me. So yeah, it's just basically, I pushed and persevered through the crap all teenagers go through, the bullying, the boys, the peer pressure, the friends, the enemies, the frenemies. Now I'm here watching as you guys go through almost identical experiences, trapped on the wrong side of a computer screen, helpless until now. The Essential Guide to Surviving the Teen Age from YouTube star. I'm no longer a teenager. I bought this when I was a teenager. That's how long it's been here. But I love Carrie. I think she's wonderful. And it just wasn't a book I was planning on picking up anytime soon. It was a book I was planning on saving for, again, a rainy day that will probably never come to pass. It's just one that sat on my shelf. So maybe it's a good thing that I've been able to pick it up. Now, let's have a little recap of this TBR, because if I'm honest, I'm scared. So I think the books that I will definitely get through are probably these 4. So the Midnight Library, it's short enough that I think I can do it. To Kill a Mockingbird, I think I have seen the audiobook online, so that will probably help me make a serious dent on this one. Same with Sense and Sensibility. I know there's an audiobook out there with this on it. So those will help me. I seem to read audiobooks a lot faster, so I'm happy to convert a couple of books to audiobook to help me make a dent on them. And Blitzcat is pretty short, so I think these 4 books seem pretty doable. The Soul Screamers one with Nikki, I imagine I will get through because me and Nikki read a certain amount of chapters each day, so it's spread out so I can kind of get through that one. And I find if it's a book I'm interested in, I can really get through it if I'm on a buddy read, because you've got somebody else being like, come on. But yeah, so there's that. And then as for these ones, I'm really not sure how it's gonna go. I am going to start this one first. I think out of all of them I will start this one first, try and read a chapter every now and again to see how I get into it. But what I might do is split this one up into a certain amount of chapters over the month, so I know how much I have to read each day in order to chop away at it. But yes, they are the books I plan on reading throughout April. Let's just pop them on here for a little thumbnail pic. There we go. Yeah, so I can show you guys because you made it to the end of the video. But yeah, these are the books I obviously plan to read. I am hopeful that we will make a dent in them, but that one by Susanna Clarke is just scaring the absolute cheese out of me. So I'm not sure how we'll get along. But fingers crossed, it'll all be okay. If you've read any of these books, let me know without spoilers what you thought about them in the comments down below. If you've read Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, let me know how you got along. I'm intrigued. But yeah, that's everything for me. I'm really sorry the TBR game wasn't as exciting as it normally is, but the lighting was just so bad. So I hope you can excuse that, and next month we will play a full-on TBR game. So yeah, that's everything for me. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!